Okay, we are officially in my messy garage. This is my old rotary sander that I kind of inherited quite some time ago. I don't know that you could hand sand these edges. I think you'd have to have something like this in order to do this, but I don't know. Here's a piece of the other thick plexiglass, and I don't know if you can see. When I cut it with my Stanley knife, I've got some kind of rough edges. Now, if you're cutting thinner plexiglass like Gary was using, maybe you don't have this issue. I don't even know yet, because this is the only stuff that I've been working with at this point. But if you do, this is all I do. It's pretty easy. It's like my machine goes on and I just do a little of this or a lot of this. It doesn't take very long, but I do it on both sides, and I do it all the way around the piece. And eventually, that really rough edge is going to transform into something extremely smooth and attractive. So, let's do a little bit more here. One moment. Yeah, you can see what's already happening here. Just even with a little bit of sanding like that, the edge is already smoothing up very nicely. So anyway, I don't know how many people actually have one of these, but I do. So I'm going to use it freely, and it works well. Of course, it works really well for wood too. If you got pieces of wood that you need to sand down the edges, that would be great. So let's go back to my workroom, after our little field trip to the garage. I did screw everything down in place using Gary's method of the little eyelets and the screw, and I really like it. This works really well. This piece is fairly heavy. It feels like a nice heavy piece of art. So all I need to do is get my hanging material on the back. One of the things I got sidelined here. One of the things I was going to mention was in drilling the holes, Gary mentioned something about using the drill bits for plexiglass. Well, again, I went to the tap store here in town, and they actually sell plexiglass bits. They're approximately $4, $5, $6 a piece. I've got 3 different sizes, and I do keep them in a plastic bag. I want to keep them separate. I don't want to use these for wood. And they're shaped a little bit different. The head of the bit is a little more slanted, and I didn't have any trouble at all. There was no cracking. There was no problem at all. The bits went right through even my very thick plexiglass fairly easily, almost as easily as wood. So, and I noticed if you go online, TAP has an online website, and if you wanted to order these online, you can do it. They sell them there for $4, $5, $6, and I think they have seven or 8 different sizes. So these are easy to get, and by the way, no, I don't work for TAP Plastics. I just, happened to find the place and found out I could use it. One of the other things that I did, I don't know if you see the black dots around the edge of my plexiglass. I actually have some black dotted stuff like this in my car on the top area of my windshield, which is really decorative. It's really designed there to keep the sun from coming through in an area where the sun visors don't work. But I wanted to put that kind of a frame around my piece, so here's what I did with that. I took the piece of plexiglass. Here's a sample, and I put a template down just to cover everything up here. Cover up the area that I wanted to protect. I wanted to protect these ladies and toasters here. So this is the piece. The ladies and the toasters would have been on this side as an example. And I've got, I don't know what you call this. It's like plastic screen. I guess I don't know what you use it for, but I used it for this. I set it down on top of my plexiglass and my black paint, and I spray painted all around the edge, which gave me the really nice little pointillism effect. One of the things I found, when you spray it down with the spray paint, be sure to let it sit there, don't pick it up until it's completely dry. I was picking it up too early, and my paint was smearing and making little smeared smudge marks. So that's all I have. This was a great project, and I'm gonna do a few more. Just wanted to add my 2 cents of how this worked for me. One of the things I see that's going to happen is dust is going to collect. You know, when you hang this on the wall, you are eventually going to get dust inside of this, but I think you'll probably be able to blow it out with a hair dryer or something like that. But anyway, great project. And Gary, thanks for getting everybody started on this. Plexiglass is truly a lot of fun. So thanks for joining me with this one today.